and welcome to Witchy Shit and Manga Lit with Cartabus and Rawiyah. We are back with a whole new subject this week, which I know nothing about. Carta, what are we talking about this weekend?
Okay, so I do actually have a subject for us today, unlike last time where we kind of just went with it. I wanted to talk about the discussion of gender roles in media.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's because it's pretty relevant right now with a lot of the media that's coming out, and some of the things we talked about last night, like, just reminded me. And yeah, so I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. I figure
Mm.
we have a lot to say about it, so.
Okay. All right, awesome. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm super excited to hear what we're going to say. Um, what have you been up to reading and consuming this week?
So this week, because I had such a high fever most of the week, I read a lot. I just kind of sat still and read. Um, I read 2 entire webcomics of, 60 episodes plus each in, 2
Wow.
days because I wasn't moving. Um, and they were both on Manta, and they're both leaving, and one was called the bookstore romance, and the premise was basically a dokebi was a running a bookstore, and this girl came to work at it, and she had there something with her ancestor and taking care of the dokebi. It was basically like a light romance with supernatural undertones, which is my jam sometimes. So it was super nice. And then the second one was called Pumpkin Time, and it was about these 2 best friends who played baseball together, and one of them left to go get better at baseball in the United States, and he was gonna come back to find his friend, who he was in love with. But what he didn't know was that his friend somehow magically turned into a girl while he was gone. So they didn't explain exactly how it happened. It's just like, I went to the doctor because all of a sudden I was a girl. It but so it was kind of like him finding out his friend's real identity and realizing that he was still in love with his friend regardless of what their gender was, which was kind of sweet. And yeah, so that one was nice. I liked that. And then I'm trying to think. I also finished reading Jurassic Park, listening to, and started Lost World. And I realized something that pissed me off now that I was totally fine with as a kid. And at the end of Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm fucking dies. He
Yeah.
he dies,
Yeah.
and I had forgotten that. I had completely forgotten that. So when the book ends, I'm like, "The fuck? How are they gonna does the next book not have Malcolm in it?" I don't remember, 'cause, it's been, 10, 15 years since I've read these. And then, so I start Lost World, and I'm like, "They fucking retconned him back alive." They were like, "No, we were just kidding about him being dead. He was actually alive the whole time." The reports exaggerated his death, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"What?" That that it made more sense for him to actually die at the end of Jurassic Park because he had fucking gangrene. Like,
Mhm.
you don't really recover from gangrene. You either lose a limb or you
Yeah.
and they were like, "No, he just has a limp now." And I'm like, "No, he shouldn't have a leg." If he survived, his leg should be gone. I mean, I don't care how good the doctors in Costa Rica are, it's not that good. So, that was a bit weird. And then show-wise, I just watched more of Irumakun because it's a super good comfort show. It's so fun and just nice and not stressful, which is good. Um, we also watched Shield Hero and also
Mhm.
the Aristocrats, uh It's another trash isekai. That's all that matters.
Mhm.
It's like Mushoku Tensei, but like stupid and fun instead of like stupid and weird.
Mhm.
But uh but yeah, so that's it for me. How about you?
I I watched the next episode of My Happy Marriage.
Yeah.
Uh it it stressed me the fuck out.
Oh no.
I was not expecting to be stressed out the way this episode it stressed me out so bad that I fast forwarded to the end of the episode to be like, is everything gonna be okay? And then once I got a yeah on that, I went back and watched the episode. Still stressed out, still was punching the air, wanted to destroy people. Um, but yeah. Oh no, no. I'm still stuck on the episode. No, the next episode, the episode I watched resolved a bunch of that, but I
Mhm.
was just still stressed out from the last episode. Like it was
Yeah.
just it was stressful. But I'm still into it. And I also watched the next episode of Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence.
And that one was nice. I guess I need to watch that one because you keep saying how
So
good it is.
cute. It's adorable. It's super adorable. Um And then I read another chapter in my book, like I can't remember the book's title, it's on the floor. But it's about being a witch and but it's very academic. It's about black witchcraft and embracing Age, and what's the difference between witch and Age according to African cultures. So that's been really amazing. It's making me want to read of Men and Mules.
Hmm.
It was making me want to read some Zora Neale Hurston. So I think I'm gonna crack some of those books off my shelf because I have a whole bell hooks section, and then I
Nice.
have a whole Zora Neale Hurston section, and I have an Octavia Butler section, and I have a Toni Morrison section. So I'm like, I have these like all these books I could be reading, especially of Men and Mules, or of Mules and Men. As a black witch, I feel like it's important for me to absorb that knowledge.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna be reading those books. But what else did I read? I finished reading Love Me for Who I Am.
Yeah. You finished
Oh
the
my
last book?
god. I finished the last book.
Right?
It took me like longer to get through the first two books, but once I hit book three, I was like, I need to know. I need to know what is going on, what's happening, all this other stuff. Like, I could
Yeah, and
not
book 4 is
imagine.
rough.
It's
Book
really
4
rough.
is so rough.
It's really
But
rough. But I loved how they didn't, like, they told a story that could happen, but it didn't end on a tragic note. Because
yeah.
sometimes, like, queerness ends up in a tragedy story, ends up being tragic. And I'm so glad that it didn't become tragic, that their love for each other was a gateway for them to actually see each other.
Mhm.
So it was really, even though when what's his name was like, we're dating, and and I was like, oh no, that's a lot to tell your parents, like like all of it at one go. But it's like, if you're gonna rip that band-aid off, rip that band-aid off.
Yeah.
um
I just
so
really like how much he had Mogumu's back on that one because, like, he was like, "If you're going through it, I'm going through it too. We're doing this together." Oh, I can't hear you. Did you mute?
I did mute.
Oh,
Oops.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah. I think because I touched my mouse. I was moving things around and fidgeting,
Mm.
so I touched my mouse, and it was like, "We're gonna mute you." So I'm gonna move my mouse over, so in case I touch it again, I don't do that. Yeah, like that's a relationship. That's a, like, we in a relationship.
Yeah.
That's a, I'm dating you, and I ain't even thinking about no other future. Like, we here in it right now, and I'm in it with you. Like, respect. So, and he had Mugumo's back. Mugumo's back.
Completely. Like,
From Jump.
yeah. And that was what was so sweet about it, was, like, it took him a second to kind of accept his own feelings, but that's
Mhm.
normal. Like, it wasn't in a, exploitative way, I suppose.
No.
How should I put it? It felt like, like you do whenever you have a crush on somebody and you're like, "Do I really have a crush on that person? What's going on?" You
Mhm.
know, that it was that kind of trying to feel it out mode, but just the way that he accepts Megumi completely for who they are as a person, my heart.
Yes. So I really enjoyed that. It gave me some joy. And I watched Yuri on Ice again because I can't stop watching it. I even went on to YouTube because I had fell down a YouTube hole anyway
Mhm.
regarding My Immortal, which you and Ron introduced me to yesterday.
Oh,
So
no.
I was falling asleep listening to this woman break down My Immortal. But like in between looking for My Immortal information, I was looking at Yuri on Ice,
Mhm.
like its fan works and everything. I ran across some pretty spicy fan art pictures. I was like, oh yeah, that's canon in my soul.
Yeah.
And then I saw that there is a moment that was edited in the version that's on Crunchyroll when Victor kisses Yuri.
Mhm.
There's a scene where it's like you know he kissed him, but it blocks out the kiss because there's no lip contact. You just see him lunging at
Yeah, because
him.
it's from the back, so you can't
Yeah,
actually see their faces
they
together.
they clipped that scene. There's a side shot. You see lip
Really?
touching lips. Yes.
Can you send me that? 'Cause I would like to see that with my eyeballs, please.
It's in my watch history, so I'll
Okay.
totally send you the link. Yeah, like it was like the unedited version of the kiss, and I'm like, unedited? Like, what do you mean it was edited? And then I saw it, I'm like, they kiss. Like, so yeah, so I was watching those clips. I watched that clip like 10 times.
You know what
And
that means, though? There is probably an unedited version of Prison School out there somewhere.
oh my God,
Because that
there
shit is
may
clearly
be.
edited.
That shit's wild.
Yeah.
I think that's it for me. I don't think I watched much more or read much more than that. I've kind of been a little bit exhausted
Mm.
because I got in my second half of my edits for my book, which
Woo!
I'm super happy about. So I kind of took a little bit to be like, I'm not thinking or doing anything this week, which is probably why I watched Yuri on Ice, the whole thing, again. And I was thinking about maybe I should watch Demon Slayer again. It's like, wait, like there's new shit to watch. I have a whole list of things. Oh, I started watching the one with the oh, I gotta look it up. The one with the guy and the girl, like he's super sweet. He's like a golden retriever puppy, but not really.
Skip
He's
and Loafer?
Skip and Loafer. I started watching Skip and Loafer. Super fucking cute. And I started watching The Masterful Cat is Depressed again today.
How is that?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the opening sequence
Uh-huh.
for the first episode, I was like, y'all just showing off how pretty y'all can make backgrounds. And it's annoying. I mean, who needs 3 minutes of look how pretty our art is? We can draw a town when that art is not the art that's the main art for the
Yeah.
story. It's like so they get this beautiful pictures of the city, but that's not the art style they use all the time. And I just got tired of looking at it. I'm like, let me just fast forward until we get to the fucking cat. And so I did. Also, time felt like it was taking forever because I was high. So like that scene could have been like 30 seconds, but I was like, it's 3 minutes, bitch. I think it was actually 3 minutes. I had to press skip a lot of times in order to get to the actual story. Um, I hate when people do that. But once I got there, it was cute. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. It kind of has my the executes the husband thing going on,
Mhm.
which I love. But the cat, the cat's amazing. I don't know if I like the main character or not yet. The girl character, I don't even remember her fucking name. But the cat, I really like the cat. The cat, I can feel the cat's energy. I know the cat's vibe. Like I get it. So the cat is like this very grounded energy, and the girl is like all over the place. She's like, I don't want to go to work. The cat is pushing her out the house with the lunchbox and like, sorry bitch. Here you go. Here
Too
you go. But
bad.
too bad. He be getting mad when she working late, like, cause he's like, I made dinner, and he makes delicious dinner. Like I want someone. There's this cooking guy on YouTube called Binging with Babish. I I
Okay.
love I love him. Like he wears all you see from him is like you rarely see his whole body. You just see his chest and his hands while he's working on the food. Um but his voice is hella soothing to me. And so he cooks all these foods, and sometimes he cooks foods from animes and cartoons. Like he did some of Miyazaki's, like he makes a sandwich, and I'm like, oh, that sandwich looks so soft and delicious and amazing. So I'm really hoping he does some of the dishes from the Masterful Cat is Depressed Again today. But I'm only 2 episodes into that. So I'm gonna give it some more time. And yeah, that's what I've been consuming this week. It was more than I thought. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing. So, the person who requested a commission from me, totally a scammer. Totally a scammer. I should not have even been worried about saying no, because I said no, and then they came back like, "Oh, can you draw this picture of my dog?" And I'm like, "Bitch, blocked." That is what you get for that. Don't even listen to somebody. Rude.
Mhm.
So rude. Um, yeah, that sounds good. I wanted to talk about something else, but I forgot.
Something else you've seen?
I'm kind of out of it, to be honest.
That
Like,
makes
this
sense. You've had fever all week. You're just getting your ass under you again.
Yeah, yeah. I realized that, like, a lot of my time has been spent mentally creating in my head things that I wanna
Mhm.
create physically,
Mhm.
and I already have ideas for your books too.
Nice.
I already have I just from the little snippet you told me last night about the world, my gears are already grinding on that, and I'm like, how should I do the cover? I'm gonna have, like, a they're in a cave, and there's this lighting going on here. Yeah, no, like, seriously, my brain is just, like, on some shit, and I'm just letting it go. I'm letting it go. I've basically released it, like, release the Kraken. I'm like, "Do what you wanna do,
Release the
brain.
Kraken. Mhm.
We'll see what happens on the other side." It's working out for me,
Meanwhile
so
meanwhile, it feels like I'm playing double dutch. Like, I'm like, "How am I gonna get into the story? Like, where's my opening line? I know where I wanna go, but I need to start this somewhere, and I can't decide if I start during a ritual ceremony, during a conversation between daughter and father, or, like, right during the ritual." So I'm just like, "Where am I gonna start? Where am I gonna start?"
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna start with the ritual.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think starting midway through the ritual and then, like, rolling back and doing the background after the fact might be interesting. Like,
Okay,
kind
I'm
of
gonna do that.
hook 'em with the action and then
Yes.
give the backstory.
Yes. And also, I'm playing with my character in a way that's like, because when I was writing this, when I was a child, or younger, when I started writing this, I think I started writing this in high school.
Mhm.
I was like very much along the lines of, oh, all relationships in books are hetero. So this relationship is hetero. I hadn't even really considered my own queerness. But
Mhm.
now that I'm older, oh my God, you sent me, I think you sent me the reel with Eugene Lee. Oh, I sent it to you. Eugene Lee Yang had a reel that says the power of like gayness is that you just get gayer.
Gayer
Like you
and gay.
just
Yes,
get
no, I sent that to
queerer.
you because 'cause I'm like, "This is so true."
Yeah.
It's like magical girl transformation where, like, you
Mhm.
just every single iteration gets more elaborate
Mhm.
as you embrace the gay and just get super gay.
Yeah. The bow started like not
Yeah.
going beneath your like your hips and now it's to the floor. Yeah. And you have a crown now.
Yeah,
Like it's
exactly. And
your little
wings.
stick turns into a scepter. Yes.
You've got wings all of a sudden. You've got a
Mhm.
floor length dress.
Mhm. Leveled up. So now as I'm writing this time I'm like, shit, none of these motherfuckers got to be straight.
Yeah, none of them. You can make all of them gay. Every single person.
So I'm like, I'm gonna be switching some motherfucking genders up in this bitch. Like, I'm be switching genders. I'm gonna be having queerness. I'm gonna have some non-binariness. I'm gonna have some gay, and I'm just super like excited. So now I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do, and how I'm gonna work these people in? So I gotta redo my characters. I gotta get my characters
Mhm.
like on board of who the main player in the story is because the default was like she had all these men trying to be up in her ass, like some of them literally. And so like I could change this.
Yeah, you can have, like the thing I and here's the thing, like, every single comic that I read that involves a reverse harem of some sort, like, there is always a female friend that literally everyone ships with the main person, and I have
Mhm.
been begging in my heart for someone to make just a pan reverse harem where literally everyone and their mom is involved. It does not matter the gender, they fall in love with the main character, and the
Oh
main
my
character
god.
says yes.
Look, this might be satisfying those needs.
I hope so. Also, I'm sending you a picture because I realized I forgot to send this to you the other day, but this was the
Mhm.
full color for that outfit that I
Boop
was
boop boop.
working on Monday. Um, but I totally understand reworking characters because one of the reasons why I haven't really gotten into doing the comic project that I've been working on is I'm not 100% satisfied with the character designs.
Mhm.
Like, I'm most of the way there, but I feel like I wanna tweak them a little bit.
Oh my god, the full color version is amazing. I want this outfit too. I want this outfit too. Um I love it. I love it. Ugh, I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
But
Um,
when you do have your characters, though, if you would not mind sending me character descriptions,
I
I would
will.
appreciate it.
I'll send them. I'll send them. I'll get it together and I'll send them. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Yeah. So, we're talking about gender roles in the media.
Yes, because, I saw Barbie a couple of weekends ago, and, Zach just recently saw Barbie, so we were talking about it, and it just reminded me because there's a lot to unpack with that movie, just
Mhm.
as an FYI before you see it. There's, like, a whole lot to unpack, and there were layers to it that I was not expecting because there's this whole speech in the middle where America Ferrera kind of goes off on expectations on being a woman. And while listening to that speech, like I understood everything she was saying because of being treated like a woman my whole life. But at the same time, I had like a layer of disconnect because I don't feel like a woman now. So I'm like, this is not actually about me, but it is about me. And it was
Mhm.
a very strange feeling to it.
Yeah.
And it was difficult to describe because, like, you know, I understand all the roles that are put on women, but at the same time, it made me, like, look at myself and how I have been looking at the way that society sees things, all because of this movie. And I was
Mhm.
like, what when I was a kid, I would always push back on the whole, "Oh, well, that's not ladylike" thing. And I thought for the longest time it was because I just didn't like the idea that something had to be ladylike, but I've realized it was because my brain was going, "That doesn't apply to you.
Mhm.
Why should you follow that rule?"
Mhm.
And, um, so
Same,
yeah,
similar.
like, so it was interesting because, like, I basically had a mini existential crisis thinking about this, and I'm like, "How has other media affected me in this way? And how often do I see myself actually represented in media?" And that's when, like, you were reading the Love Me for Who I Am, which, I that one made me cry because could relate
Mhm.
a little bit to a lot of the things that were going on, for the main character. And one more point with Barbie specifically is there is a character called Alan, and a lot of people on the internet have decided that Alan is non-binary and have, like, been like, "Oh, I'm Alan," type of thing. For me, I didn't actually see Alan the character as being non-binary. It was more that in the Barbieverse, there were very set gender roles set up within that, which were separate from the gender roles that were set up in real life, essentially. And Alan
Mhm.
simply did not fit into any of those gender roles in the Barbieverse. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Alan would translate as non-binary in the real world, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. To me,
Mhm.
at least to me, the way that I perceived it. But I'm not gonna tell anybody they're wrong for, like, identifying with Alan, like, go for it, you know? Um,
Mhm.
but, like, for me, it was just because Alan didn't fit in with the specific Ken role or the specific Barbie role. Alan was just Alan. That doesn't mean that, I mean, maybe that does mean that Alan was non-binary, but I didn't see it as a one-for-one translation?
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not making sense,
You are
but
making sense.
okay.
You see it as a correlation within that, like, fantasy world that it could be that way because he was in between what Ad Alan was in between what was represented as male or female.
Mhm.
So Alan didn't fit into either category. So in that way, in that world, Alan was, like, not on either side of the spectrum. But in the real world, Alan may not be that way or move that
Right.
way according to what
Yeah,
gender stereotypes are in the real world.
and I feel like it's kind of like with Gidget, because Gidget in the or, she I think she was the pregnant Barbie. Basically, they have other characters, Midge, that are not Barbie or Ken, but I don't necessarily see them as being non-binary. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, it was more just like Alan did not fit with being Barbie or Ken in that case, but neither does
Mhm.
Midge, neither does, Skipper? What is he? I don't know any of these Barbie terms. Now that I think I used to know all this Barbie lore, but I do not know anymore. But there are other characters that are not Barbie and not Ken that are in the Barbieverse, and not all
Yeah,
of
but if
them.
do
Yeah.
they inhabit certain, like, they may not be Barbie or Ken, but I don't think Barbie or Ken is a direct, I don't know, so I haven't seen the movie, but my
Yeah.
own yet. But my own thought about it is Barbie's, like, got this femme energy. Skipper, I think it is Skipper,
Yeah.
and Midge also have this, like, femme energy. So I get confused. I get confused because for me, like, well, I don't know because I had one well, no. I had fake my thing with Barbie is that even though they made President Barbie black,
Mhm.
I still grew up during a time where there were no black Barbies.
Or
Like,
they were really hard to find. When we were kids, they were incredibly hard to find
mhm,
because they had them, but they were like 1 in 800. It was not easy to find
it
the
was
black
not a
Barbie.
thing.
Yeah.
So I grew up with the dollar store Barbies. When I was able to get one, the legs would pop off and never go back. If you got the hair wet, it was a problem.
Oh,
Like,
no.
my brother used to decapitate and drown my Barbies all the time. It was awful. And when my Barbies were in good condition, because you're at a certain age, you're a child, and you're like experimenting with sexuality in a way. Like, my Barbies' boyfriends were always my Care Bears.
I played Star Wars with my Barbies.
Oh, nice.
And I had the hair magic ones. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, the Ken's hair changed color if you dipped
Mm-hmm.
his head in different colored water. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
think I had the magic earring Barbies too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really have Barbies because we couldn't find Barbies that would represent like me.
Mhm.
And I think my mom finally got me, like, it was years before I got a talking doll. Like, I think I was in 6th grade, my mom bought me a talking doll, and I remember looking at it like, one, this doll looks like Chucky, a blonde a blonde Chucky, and two, I'm way past the age for this. Why would you get it for me now? Like, and that talking doll, this is off topic, but that talking doll, like, I left it in a corner of my room and nothing would move it. And at night it would say, "Turn me over, mommy. Turn me over, mommy. Turn me over, mommy." And I knew my brother was awake in the bed because my brother and I shared a bedroom until we were like 12. So, like, I knew that my brother could hear this bitch going off and could hear the bitch going off. And my fear was that if I picked her up, I was going to open the back and that there were gonna be no
Yeah.
batteries.
That that is a legit fear, because I am now scared of that too. I'm scared of that for you. That sounds terrifying.
I put that doll in a plastic bag with some of my other dolls and put it on the top shelf of my closet, 'cause I could not deal.
Yeah,
I
that
could
doll
not
sounds
deal at all.
possessed. That
Yeah, no, it
that
was
was a
bad.
possessed doll.
It was bad. It was bad. It was real bad. Um, but for my thing about gender roles in the media right now, I gotta talk about Keke Palmer and her boyfriend, whose name, like, nobody knows, in Usher. So Keke Palmer is an American performer, a Black American performer, and she was at an award ceremony, and Usher came up and started singing to her, and she was like, "Oh, Usher," and Usher was singing sexy to her, and she was like, "Yeah, Usher," and people went took to the nets to complain about how she was being with Usher, and she's a mother. And yeah, she's a mother. There was this expectation around her being a mother. And she was like, and how she was dressed. And then her boyfriend, her baby daddy boyfriend, was like, "Yeah, she shouldn't have dressed that way. I wasn't comfortable with how she was dressed, da 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 da." And
Sounds like he doesn't
so,
need to be a boyfriend then.
yeah, he doesn't. Okay, so we're on the same page. We're on the same page. But so many people, mostly men, weighed in on how, yeah, that was disrespectful. Like, she was doing this, she was doing that. But then I love Keke Palmer's response. Keke Palmer's response was to record a music video with Usher for the song Boyfriend. And
Nice.
the song was like, your boy, basically lyrics like, your boyfriend is wondering where I'm at. I'm in your head. He doesn't even have to look for me. I'm everywhere you go because I'm in your head, your head, and I'm trying to be in your bed. Um,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah,
So she just was like, "I'm gonna double down on
I'm gonna
I
double down.
I vaguely do remember the internet freaking out about it, but I mainly remember people being like, "Yeah, she's awesome. We stan." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, yeah. But the end of the video, she wakes up. She's like, "Oh, did I miss the show? Oh, I'm so tired. You know I'm a mom, right?" So
Oh
there's
my god,
this.
that's amazing.
It was so good. I suggest you like look up the Kiki Palmer. Y'all who are listening, look at the Kiki Palmer debacle and then watch that video and you will be like, that bitch clapped back. She clapped back and it was
Yeah.
beautiful. So now they're no longer together, like Kiki
Mhm.
Palmer and her baby daddy, whose name we do not know. Um, and I
He does
think
not need to be known.
he does not need to be known. Whatever his name is, I can't even remember his name. But when we talk about that with gender roles, it's this expectation I feel around women, like performers, actresses, all this other things, that they can be sexual only when it's in the service of cishet men.
Yeah.
But when they're enjoying themselves for themselves,
You
it's
have
a
you're
problem.
doing it wrong, you're
Mhm.
not allowed to do that kind of thing.
Mhm. So so yeah, there's these roles and then like we were talking with Ron last night with DJ Regular, and
Yeah.
we did talk a little bit about the Keke Palmer thing. We also talked about how these women rappers are doing their damn thing and talking about sexuality and how the men are losing their minds over it in this very
Like, "How
negative and
dare you?" And it's
how
like,
dare how
it
dare you be sexual?
that one rapper he indicated, what was her name? Something like Sexy the
Something
Red?
red. Sexy red, I think.
Yeah, like, that song is great. The one that he
Mhm.
linked, I love it so much.
Mhm.
And the fact that it makes men lose their minds is just makes it so much better.
Yes. Yes. And then on the inverse, there's this expectation. It's so weird. There's this expectation of men to be hyper masculine in the media. Like that's all we're
Mhm.
presented with is this hyper masculinity. So much so to the point that when we see a not hyper masculine man, for me, it's like it's super refreshing not to see a hyper masculine man. And also like whether they're shit or not, I'm like, oh, you're not hyper masculine. Like, I'm gonna fall for you because you're not hyper
Yeah.
masculine. So,
That actually reminds me of, do you remember around the same time the Kiki Palmer thing was going on, um, Tom Holland did a video where he basically is a bottom, and the
no, I
internet
have not.
lost their mind.
Tom
It's
Holland as a bottom.
yes.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and it
god.
is sexy. It is super sexy, and basically everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is disgusting. How could he do this?" And everybody else is like, "You do realize that, like, Zendaya makes out with women sometimes too, right? Like, this is something they're doing as an actor? Like, this is fine," but, like, everybody lost their mind
Even if
because
he wasn't an
yeah,
actor,
yeah,
like,
yeah, even if he wasn't acting, it's still, like, just everybody lost their mind, and he was just acting. But they lost their minds about it, and I had to watch the clip multiple times because it's really
oh my
good.
god.
Did you find it?
I'm looking for it. I just typed in Tom Holland as a bottom and it and it and it kicked up a scene. Tom Holland, the crowded gay room scene.
Yes. Click it. Watch it right
Okay,
now.
I'm gonna click it. We're gonna have a live reaction. All right. He's walking through the crowd, little red background thing going on all the way.
Yep. This is it.
He's like bouncing around. So many attractive people in here. No, his little coat,
Plus, honestly,
got the
Tom
eye
with eye
makeup
makeup,
on.
yeah.
I love I love men in eyeshadow. Like, if I was ever with a guy, again, and he wore eyeshadow, like, that would end a fight.
That's a green flag.
Or, "Oh, he's dancing with this other man."
Uh-huh.
Ugh, it's so oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, yes! Get it, get it, get it in. Ugh, now he did a bump. Oh my god. What is this show? Is this a music video or a show?
Uh, I don't know, actually. I think it's from a show,
Oh
though.
my god.
It was from, like, a new show that he did.
Yeah,
But,
they mad
like,
about this. This is great.
they're
Ooh, he on his knees in front of this man.
they do not hold back.
That's right, get the pants off. Oh, this was so hot.
I told you.
This
Like,
was so hot. Yeah, they big mad about this. And I
so
don't think
mad.
it's because I'm so fucking queer.
Mhm.
I don't even understand why they would be mad. Part of me, like, part of nope, nope, it's out of my mind now. I'm like, how can you be mad at this? This is hot. This is great. Um,
Oh, the show is called The Crowded Room.
oh wait, I can't quite hear you.
The show is called A Crowded Room.
Hmm. Your sound is coming in low for me now.
That's weird. Let me
It could be me. I could have done something different to the sound when I was watching the video.
maybe close out the window you were watching the video in.
Oh, let me try that.
Is that
Oh
better?
my God. Okay, go again.
Okay, is that better?
No, but I can still
Oh,
hear
no.
you.
Okay. So the show is called The Crowded Room. It's on Apple TV, which is why I haven't
Hmm.
seen it, but, like, I will just watch that clip over and over again. It is worth it.
It is so good. It is so good. Also, I just raised the volume on my computer.
Okay. I honestly, I think they're mad because it looks like he's having fun. Like, it looks like they legitimately had fun making that, and they're like, "Oh, how dare you have
I,
fun doing gay things."
I think they're mad because he's like, I think, like, again, where you go through this, like, here's this guy who's been heavily sexualized by women,
Mhm,
um, and some kind of a role model for men who want to get women, being like having and being like masculine and powerful and all these other things. And now you're seeing him be a bottom. And that can be very confusing for some cishet straight men when you like kind of see someone who you idolize
mhm.
being a bottom. And it's because they don't realize how much power the bottom actually has.
Yeah, and I think they also, like a lot of people get stuck on how bottoms need to be perceived. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
the bottom's always, uh, you know, girly, essentially. They're gonna be like, the
Mm-hmm.
bottom is, you know, um, the quote unquote "Big Nelly bottom"
Mm-hmm.
type, and honestly, in a lot of stories, I prefer it when the bottom is, like, super masculine and the
Mm-hmm.
top is, like, a little bit, not as masculine. That's, like, super hot. Like, it's great. I don't think I think, like, putting those roles on people is rude. Like, being like, "Well, Tom could never be a bottom because he's a superhero and super masculine." It's like, "Well, that's stupid." That
And
doesn't make any sense.
I also think people correlate bottom with receiver with woman.
Yeah.
And I really think that's part of the issue that's happening. It's like, why are you acting like a girl? And it's like, I think that's when we get into issues and problems, is when we start to label certain behaviors
hmm
and relationship positioning as gendered.
Yeah, that's definitely a gender role thing because they're assuming that the bottom has to be submissive and the bottom has to, you know, that because again, you're taking it that you're somehow being used or forced to take it
Uh huh.
instead of being having agency in the act. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's an extremely heteronormative way of looking at sex in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, you'll notice a lot of conservatives are like, "How dare women enjoy sex? They're not allowed to because they're just there to make babies for us. We're the ones who enjoy sex." And it's like, "Mm,
Mm-hmm.
really?"
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they gender role sex is probably a lot of why they get so upset about people being seen as a bottom if they think they're supposed to be masculine.
Yeah.
Like bottoms aren't allowed to be masculine, which again, I think is stupid.
Really stupid. It's really
Really
stupid.
stupid.
Oh my God, there was this joke that I saw somewhere where this guy, I don't know if it was a reel or a clip or a cartoon, but the story behind it was this guy, like he brought his friend home, and it wasn't his friend, it was his boyfriend. And he introduced his boyfriend to his mom as a way of coming out, and his dad was like, "Who's the top and who's the bottom?" And he was horrified that his dad asked that question. He's like, and he didn't know how to answer. And the mom very quickly was like, "Well, of course our son is the bottom." Like, and there was this whole, right? It's like, damn, mom. But also that feeds into this whole idea that, bottoms are a certain kind of way. And
Mhm.
I know that me personally, as a bottom, sometimes when I'm a top, I'm a good top, but I prefer to be, I would like to be a bottom, especially since in my last relationship I was topping the whole time for like 3.5 years straight.
Ooh,
And I was like, I want to be a bottom again for a little while. But like, as a bottom, I was so empowered as a bottom.
yeah.
So empowered as a bottom. I fucking loved it. Cuz for various reasons, which I can get into later, but I really enjoyed being a bottom. I desire to continue to be a bottom. There's so much power in being a bottom. There's like, I never felt like I surrendered any parts of myself. It was kind of like, yeah, it's good, huh? It's good, huh? It's good, huh? Watch me make it better. Watch me make it better. You about to lose control, bitch. You about to lose control. So, also it's very powerful as a bottom too. I was even told that I have like, it was like, oh, it makes sense that you're a bottom or a submissive because you have an A type personality. I was like, let me punch you in the,
I
punch you
I
in
mean, uh
and you know who told me this? You know who
mm,
told me this? A
who?
police officer who pulled me over while I was dressed. Yeah, I don't know. I've probably never told you this story. I was heading to the dungeon. I was running late. I was dressed up like corset, short skirt, see-through blouse, no bra, like big heels on. And
Mhm.
there's this
Okay.
black car, big truck that's driving next to me, in front of me, and they're going so slow. So then I try to pass them, but they go faster. And so then I try to pass them again, and they go faster and faster. So then I finally gun it, shoot past them, and turn right. That's when I see the lights behind me. I pull over, and this cop is like, "You were speeding." And I'm like, "Yes, I
Mhm,
was."
I was, yeah.
And he's like, "Well, where are you trying to go?" And I'm like, "Oh, just to a club." And he looks at me and he's like, "To a club?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just like 3 blocks from here. Like I was just going to a club." And he's like, "Which club are you going to?" And I'm like, "I don't have to give you that information." And, and he was like,
You don't.
and he was like, "Well, I think I know what club you're going to." And I'm like, and I'm basically at this point like, "Just give me my ticket so I can go.
Yeah, I'm
Just
late.
give me my ticket so I can go." So I then get a phone call from my top at the time, and he's like, "You are late." And I was like, "I know, I just got stopped by the police." And he was like, "For what?" And I'm like, "For speeding because I was running late." And he was like, "Let me talk to this officer." So he got on the phone with the officer,
Oh,
and
wait, he was in law enforcement, right?
yeah, he was in law enforcement.
Okay.
This is the sheriff. The deputy of the
My
sheriff.
god.
So they got to talking. They were on the phone for 5 fucking minutes. I'm just standing out there, freezing my half naked ass off. They're on the phone for 5 fucking minutes. He gives me the phone back, and he's like, and he looks at me after I hang up, and he's like, "You're the bottom, right?" And I was like, I didn't know what to say because I was just like so shocked. But so I just told the truth, and I was like, "Yes, on the bottom." He's like, "Oh, that makes sense. You have an A-type personality. Here you go. And also, if anybody else tries to you like you're gonna be punished for speeding by your daddy, and if anybody stops you along the way, just give them my card." And he gave me his card. He was like, "Call me if you ever have any problems."
That is fucking wild.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I guess you got one privilege out of that guy.
I did. I did.
Like the single good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. He made me put his picture in my wallet underneath my driver's license. So if I ever got pulled over for whatever reason and I pulled out my driver's license to hold my wallet in a way in which they would see his picture.
Oh my god.
I used it twice.
Did it work?
It worked.
Because everyone in the area knew him.
Yeah, people knew him. And it was also a thing of, "Oh, who's that?" Like when they say, "Oh, who's that?" They'll ask, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's my daddy." They were like, "Your father's in law enforcement?" And I say, "No, he's
Not that
my
kind of
daddy."
daddy.
And they're like, "Oh, okay, well, here you go. Go along, ma'am." Like,
Not that kind of
"That
daddy.
kind of daddy."
Oh man.
I do not have half this man's chromosomes.
Not my father, my daddy.
My daddy. So yeah. Yeah, A-type personality. And I think that when we see A-type personalities present in film or women in the media, it's like a problem.
Mhm.
They're either a problem, they're either cold, they're not seen as full human beings, they're seen as pretending to be men, they're relationshipless, like, and then it seems like when
Yeah,
they're
like they're
the main
seen as being
characters.
frigid and
Yeah.
like
And as a
yeah,
main
or
character of a story,
overbearing. Mm.
they have to learn how to soften or come
Yeah.
to the middle, and that's when
Mhm.
their life starts going right. But that doesn't happen for men as main characters in presented in media and their stories. They get to be A type all they want, and they win when they get even more like bossy and whatever. And all of this is quite dangerous because I learned about womanhood, femininity,
Mhm.
when I believed I was a girl, when I was like, this doesn't quite fit, but
Mhm.
this is what I'm being told. Before I had the language and knowledge, this is how I learned about being what my role was in society, not just as a woman, but what I was supposed to strive for as a black woman. And I'll explain further.
Mm.
My my womanhood wasn't just being woman, it also was impacted by assimilation.
Oh, yeah, 'cause you had
Having
to
to
act like
change
a
my hair to straight
specific
hair.
kind of woman.
I had to act like a
Yeah.
specific kind of woman. In order to be valuable, desirable, and protected, I had to specifically learn how to act like a white woman. I had to straighten my hair, speak a certain way, hold myself in a certain kind of way. Like it was as if being me and how I was raised and what I was subjected to was that there was this one way to be a woman and get the things that women get. Like I fucking debuted into society. Like I was a fucking debutante. Like all these things about how I was supposed to be as a woman, that double impact that was like not just a woman, but a woman according to the lie of white supremacy.
Mhm.
So that was on some fuck shit. And I could never meet those standards. Like most white women can't meet the standards of the women that are presented
Yeah.
in media. So like think of like all those black and brown women. Like and I'm not
Yeah.
even a woman anymore. Like so
Mhm.
I never was. So I can't because I'm liberated from that. I can't imagine I like how hard it is for women and non-binary um people who assign gender at birth
Mhm.
um according to their sex as female without the supportive community how they fucking deal like
It like, it sucks. Like, I just remember dealing with my own mother's view of how I should be as a woman. I was too
mhm
tall. I was too boyish. Um, so I shouldn't wear heels because boys won't like it. That's a lie.
mhm
That's a lie.
mhm
Because I found
there's
many
men who want to
boys
climb that tree
who very, very much liked my height, and adding heels to that, was not a problem
mhm
because basically it makes the tits face height, and,
mhm
a lot of people like that. A lot of people like, "Hey, come here,
like more
titties,
accessible
titties." Yes. Yeah, like, just straight in, just, "I'm gonna suffocate you the
mhm
instant I meet you," and they're like, "Yes, please." I will sign whatever waiver is needed. Um, but yeah, like, that was put on me, and I was always very, like, I didn't give a shit about being ladylike ever.
yeah
I wanted to ride horses. I wanted to, like, draw. I wanted like I said, I played Star Wars with Barbies. Like, I was not
mhm
I was not doing girly shit with even the girly stuff that I had. I had, like, fashion plates, and I liked drawing clothes, but it was
I
drawing, you know what I
had
mean?
the fashion plates too.
Weren't those so fun?
Those were amazing.
So, yeah, like, I like drawing clothes, but, like, I don't necessarily see drawing clothes or fashion itself as being girly, and it
Mhm.
shouldn't be. Like, men can love fashion too. I don't see how that's a problem. But yeah, nothing was ever good enough. Like, when I picked out clothes in high school, mom was like, "That you need to get tighter pants," because we were in the tiny shirt, baggy pant era, and
Mhm.
she's like, "No, you need to get tighter pants. Boys will like that more." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I like this more. I
Can
like the big
we
baggy pants."
can we pause for a moment?
Yeah.
The whole thing I wanna go back to something you just said,
Mm.
because it happened to me too. This whole thing of, "Oh, you should wear this because boys will like it."
Yeah.
We were fucking teenagers.
Right. Yeah. No, my mom had an issue with my monogamy as well. Because I can only concentrate on one person at a time. I really wish I could concentrate on more than one person at a time, but I
Mhm.
do not have the attention span. That is what I have
Mhm.
realized about myself. I could just never date around because I do not have the attention span. So I've always been a serial monogamist, even in college when I was
Mm-hmm.
making out with like literally anyone who would move. Um, I would just go around, I'd make out with one person and be like, okay, we're done. Now I'm going to go make out with this because like that's just how I can't do multiple people at once. It just doesn't make sense to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And because I can't concentrate. I can't. I have too many other things that I'm doing, and I'm like, I just one person is too much to deal with
I'm
most days, honestly.
I'm very similar. I'm poly, but I'm poly when I can actively be poly when I've spent 10 years with the person. Like, and then,
And you're like, okay, we're
and
good. We're in a set mode. Now I can think of someone else for a second. Yeah.
we've built a foundation. Now I can, but I know people who are dating like four people at a time with new relationships. And I'm just like, man, how do you keep these, how do you have time for hobbies?
Honestly,
How do
I
you
feel
have
like people who do that are more addicted to the falling in love phase than with the actual being in a relationship phase.
Well, there is new relationship energy that's very
Yeah. It's a little
addictive.
addictive, yeah.
But I will say as well that I know people who have been in poly relationships for 20 years plus. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's just the thing about being addicted to falling in love. I think it is the capacity to fall in love with multiple people.
I'm not
But
saying that
I,
you can't, I'm just saying I think the people that are doing, like, 4 and 5 new relationships at the same
at
time,
one time,
that might be why. Because like, if you're in an established relationship and you have a new relationship, and then you establish that relationship, and you have a new relationship, etcetera, a lot of people do it that way, but I think some people who are like, "I want 5 new relationships right now," that's them. They're more like, "I just really love having new relationships."
I can totally, I can see that. I can
Yeah.
actually see that because it takes so much energy to maintain a single relationship.
Mhm.
Um, and it takes even more energy to maintain multiple relationships, depending on what kind of poly paradigm you're going for.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, I just get tired. I'm like, I need time to read comics. I
Right.
need time
Yeah.
to write. I need time to rest. I can't be managing and juggling like too many
Yeah,
bitches. I can't.
I can barely maintain my current relationship. Like, I am lucky that he accepts how lazy I am when it comes to stuff, and he takes care of me. He's like, "Did you eat food today?" I'm like, "Oh crap, I forgot. Fine, I'll bring you food." Stuff like he
Oh.
maintains me like a houseplant, and I very much appreciate it because I cannot maintain myself. He's like, "If I die, you're dying like 3 weeks later because you're gonna forget to eat." And I'm like, "That is valid. That's probably true."
Oh.
Because like even this week, because of the fever, like I had no appetite. So one day I didn't eat for like 26 hours
Oh.
because I just had no appetite. And I was
Mhm.
like, I need to eat, but I don't want to eat. Tell me what to eat. And he's like, okay, you need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do that. I'll get some cereal just to get something in my body and I'll try
Mhm.
to do something. And he's like, and I'll bring you food when I'm coming home. I'm like, okay, perfect. But like,
Nice.
because I just, I don't maintain myself. So I can't imagine trying to maintain 3 or 4 relationships at once. They would hate
Mhm.
me. They would hate me.
Oh.
That's fine.
I think the most relationships I was in at once was, I think, 2 at a time. At one point, there was 3, but the 3rd one didn't last long. The 3rd one didn't last long at all. I think I'm really good with 2.
That seems reasonable. That seems like a reasonable amount of relationships. 2 main
Yeah,
ones and then, some others come and
some
go now and
sugar.
again.
Some
Yeah.
sugar on the side. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. 2 main people holding it down and then, extra makeout sessions with people, like, in my slut era. I love it. In my free love era, in my get this pussy era. But, like, the relationships, like I'm really good. Like I can manage two of them at a time. I can barely keep track of what's going on in my life. Like I don't know if you remember, you may remember, but whenever we went somewhere together,
Mhm.
I often had no idea what the fuck was going on.
It was extra fun when I didn't either. We would often just roll into a place like, "What is happening? I don't know, but we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be fine." It always ended up fine, but at the same time, like, it was better if one of us knew what was going
Yeah, if one of us had information on what the fuck we were doing and why and where, instead of just being like, show up at this place. Like, I was really good for like, I once went camping in the woods with some people. I didn't even know we were going camping. I didn't know where we were going. They were just like, just bring some food. We have a tent. We have everything you need. We have some sleeping bags. Just, come out to the woods with us. And I was like, okay. And I didn't question where we were going.
Oh, friend,
Nothing. I was just, I was just
you coulda
out
gotten
in the woods.
kidnapped. You almost got abducted into the woods forever.
It's better than it sounds. Like I went with a husband and a wife and their two kids and their two pit bulls. Um, so I kind of felt safe, and plus they were like, I was like, I don't want to go camping. Like I'm not an outside bitch, and they're
Yeah.
like, we're bringing weed and Crown Royal, and I was like, I'll be there.
Well, we know what's going to be in the white van that you will get you will get it. Like, "I got this dank. It smells real stinky in this van." You're like, "Mm."
Mm, this sounds like a good idea. Cartabus.
What?
That situation actually happened.
Are you serious?
Yes, yes. I
You
was
were confronted with stranger danger and was like, yeah, this sounds fine."
so like I used to perform with this company,
Mhm.
and they needed some ambient performers and walk around performers for Lagunitas. The beer. You
Yeah.
ever heard of Lagunitas beer?
Mhm.
They had a kind of like pop up beer thing, a beer garden. They had a pop up beer garden happening, and they needed performers and walk around people. So I was booked as one of the performers, walk around people by this company. And up pulls a white van, big white van, tinted windows. The door opens and weed wafts out of the whole thing. And this guy is like, man, we're here to pick you up, man. And we all looked at each other and we're like, are we going to get into this white van with tinted windows and the smell of weed with two hairy, beard overgrown men? And then I was like, they paying me $500. So I'm going to go. That's half my rent. So we all got in a van. We got where we were going safely. We got back. On the way back, it was marijuana and ribs.
Oh.
Who they just grabbed an entire silver foil wrapped tray of ribs. The hospitality, Carta. The hospitality by these white van drivers.
That honestly,
Yeah.
that sounds like an ideal gig.
Yeah, it was beautiful. They dropped us back off where they picked us up, and they're like, "All right, man, y'all get home safe." And we're all like outside a van full of ribs and
And weed.
marijuana, and we're going, this is my life. How the fuck am I gonna get home? What is home anyway? Oh
That
my
does
god.
that sounds awesome, though.
I had so much fun. I've had so much fun. Just in general. Like I've had so much fun. So yeah. But the media, the gender roles in media, like they're harmful. They're
Yeah.
harmful, they're harmful, they're harmful. Like they talk about, and what I'm mad about is they talk about like, oh, if we talk about queerness, if we talk about gender, then that's sexualizing children. And literally, what our mother said at a young age to us about
Mhm.
how men, like, you should wear this, like, men will like it better, boys will like it better, is like, well, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, literally, like, why is the way that I present myself supposed to attract men?
Yeah.
Because that, like, And this kind of thing, I'm glad that I had a decent sense of self, at least as a teenager, because I remember when I was working at the comic shop, I would get hit on like all the time because I was a teenager and I was a little bit hot as a teenager. And all these men would come up and ask me things. I swear to God, this one guy, he tried. I was sorting the comics and he came up and was like, "So you like comics?" And I was like,
Oh, wow.
I said yes, but it took everything in my soul not to be like, "No, I like being verbally abused by the owner who's a misogynist and filing comics while sitting on the ground. That's my life's goal." So I was just like, "Yes, I like comics." But there was this one Sunday, and every Sunday it was just me and this other guy, and it was so funny because we had a CD player in the
Mhm.
in the place, and I would always bring in like my art house music, so I'd have like Bjork and like the soundtrack to Fire Walk with Me, and like all
Nice.
kinds of like super art nerd shit like Radiohead and and Beastie Boys, and he would come in and have 7 CDs of Rodney James Dio.
What?
It would be my art house shit and then Dio, and then my art house shit and then Dio every single time. The Fushigi Yugi character soundtrack and then Dio, because literally every CD he brought in was Dio, which
Oh,
was funny. We had
wow.
a very fun dynamic. He was like this kind of grungy, frumpy metalhead, and I was
Mhm.
like this like super artsy weirdo. We vibed anyway.
Nice.
So it looked a lot of the times like I was working by myself at the front desk because he would be off in the back room sorting shit or like getting boxes set up for shipping, or you know for like basically the doing the trash duty on Sundays. And this man came up and started asking me questions about some of the magazines while I was sorting the magazines. And I was like, okay, this is fine. And then he started asking me out. And this was like a 30-year-old asking
Oh,
out
oh.
a 17-year-old. And he was like, "Hey, do you like tennis?" I was like, "I guess." And he's like, "You should come play tennis with me." I'm like, "No, that's okay." He's like, "We can get a drink after." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm underage." He's like, "That's okay." And I'm like, "No, it's not." I was like,
Oh.
"No, no, no, it's not." I was not one of those that liked partying. And uh like literally I had to like call the guy in from the back to be like, "Hey, can you get this man off my ass because I
Mhm.
can't deal with him." He would not leave me alone, and it was very scary for a teenager.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would I want to dress more? I dressed a little provocatively. Like I said, I had tiny tops and my tits are not small. Even as a teenager, my tits were C cup. Like that is where I
Mhm.
started. Like my titties were always going to be big, which is
Mhm.
unfortunate, but it is what it is. I was destined to have giant titties. Um, so like, yeah, when I was like super tiny as a teenager, I had C cups and I would always wear tight tops and like baggy bottoms.
Mhm.
But sometimes I'd wear like little suits or like little dresses and stuff because it was cute. I wanted to be
Oh.
cute
Mhm.
for me. I wanted to be cute
Yes.
for me. And the fact that I was told that I needed to attract men, but men are scary and entitled sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
It's like, why
dangerous.
would you
It's
want that?
dangerous to tell younger women that you should wear this to attract men. You should not wear that because it will not attract men, because
And
at this
then you're
point,
told
yeah.
you had it coming because of how you were dressed.
Right. Yes. Right. That's definitely a thing.
And it's psychologically damaging on the other side of the binary
Mhm.
for cis men And for people who are trying to play masculinity because they feel like they have to, that they have to be emotionless, that they have to
Yeah.
be have a certain type of body,
That
that
they
they
have to
have
be
to be
aggressive.
rich. Yeah, that
Like,
it's okay to be it's okay to be aggressive,
yeah,
and that it will actually like
it'll
win
get you
her
what you
over.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
And so I know so many men who are now like in their 40s and late 30s, early 40s who are finally discovering their own softness.
Mhm. The process of
And
unlearning takes so long
so
for all
long.
of us.
Yeah, so long.
Like, I still struggle a lot with, like, hating the way I look, and it's because I've been told for so long, "You have to look X, Y, and Z way,"
Mhm.
and it's prevented me from enjoying actually looking a specific way, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I can't enjoy my body because it doesn't look the way society tells me it's supposed to look, and
I
that's unfortunate
understand.
because my body is the one I have, so I should like
Yep.
it more.
I stopped hiccups. I stopped looking at magazines when I was younger. Like
Mm,
I when I was in elementary school, like this is I don't remember much, but I remember this. When I would go to sleep, I would dream that I was like a white Barbie.
oh.
And then as I got older and I stopped having that dream, I had so much anxiety over how my body was because when I was younger, I was super curvy. I was hourglass.
Mhm.
And like older men wanted that, but
Yeah.
people my age made fun of it. It was so confusing. Um, and so I hated my body. I hated how I looked. I felt like the magazines were judging me, so I stopped reading magazines. So a lot of the teen magazine culture I was not participating in because I wasn't like that. Like 16 magazine or
Mhm.
whatever, I couldn't even look at it. I didn't know what was going on in the teen world according to pop culture because I couldn't look like it, didn't look like that, and it was depressing me. So I avoided it. And then as I got older, because I grew up in New Orleans, I saw my body everywhere. And so it wasn't a problem for me to feel comfortable in my body.
Mhm.
And then I moved to California
Yeah.
and I took a nosedive of confidence and loving my body and loving myself. And then as the years progressed and my PCOS progressed and I gained more and more weight, it was even harder. And like it affected my job. Like I would get less I trained people who would work with become administrative assistants to high up people in the company,
Mhm.
but even though I was the one training them, I would never progress past front desk receptionist because I wasn't fuckable to them.
Yeah.
And even sometimes when we were working at the massage place, like there would be some clients who would say, I don't want to work with this person because I don't believe they can give me a massage because they're fat.
Are you
That
serious?
happened to me there.
Oh my god.
That happened to me there. That happened to me there. And the front desk would say, "Oh, they're one of our top-rated massage therapists," and they're like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
'cause you're pretty
um,
good.
I am so good. I am so good."
You're still
But
my
then
favorite.
one time, in the complete inverse, there was this Samoan dude who came in with his friends to get a massage. They were all like fucking built like quarterbacks, landbackers. What the
Linebackers?
fuck is it called? Linebackers.
Yeah.
Jesus. No, land backer. Land get the land back. As I'm saying it, give the land back, rematriate the land.
Yes.
Um, but linebacker. They all look like linebackers. And like when they introduced him to me, like as his massage therapist, and I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm your massage therapist," he was like, "Yes, yes." He was like, "I want you to destroy me. I want you to take all that weight and lean on me." He was so fucking stoked.
Yeah.
He was so fucking stoked. He got on that table. He's like, "Hurt me." He's like, "Hurt me." Like, to this day, I'm like, that man made me so happy. That man made me so happy. He was so excited. He was like, "Yeah, I got this one. Yeah, let's go."
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really sweet. But yeah, a couple of times at that place, like people didn't want me to work on them because they thought I wouldn't be able to do my job.
And again, that is a lot down to media representation, because in media, fat bodies have always been seen as comedy relief or something to be pitied instead of just a
Hmm.
way that your body can be.
Yeah. Even when they did the show, there was a show called Drop Dead Diva.
Mm.
It was basically about this fat lawyer. But what happened is there were two people who died at the same time. One of them was the skinny diva like type personality, and the other one was this fat lawyer who never allowed herself to have a relationship, was dressed frumpily and all this other stuff. Not that I have anything bad against dressing frumpy. I'm in a unicorn calf can right now with the Zenitsu hair bonnet on that Carta bought for me.
So, first of all, that is not frumpy. I don't think you could be frumpy if you tried, just because of who you are as a person. So, just gonna put that out there.
You're right. You're right. So I in this show, so the skinny woman and the fat woman both died at the same time. The skinny woman was like, "Oh my god, no, I'm not gonna die. I'm going back to Earth," and fought to get back to Earth, and came back in the fat woman's body. So here you have a show about the fat woman lawyer, but the fat woman within the lawyer and she's dead now. She's fucking dead. So you basically have a skinny woman in a fat body, which is so problematic on so many
It's so
levels.
problematic. It's like, imagine if they did that with race.
Oh, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my
Ima
god.
Imagine, I mean, we're talking Hollywood, they absolutely would do that, now that I think about it.
Yeah. They did it in Soul,
Oh, they did?
the Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Tina Fey was all up in that black man's body.
I'm trying to think, wasn't there another body swap movie in the '80s with Dan Aykroyd? That was
Was it Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy?
I feel
No,
like it
not Eddie
was.
Murphy.
Or
Richard
Richard
Pryor?
Pryor. I have to look that up now.
Was it a thing, or are we just making that up? Actually, if that is a movie, I would, I'd probably watch it if it was Dan Aykroyd and Richard Pryor because I know it was gonna
Honestly,
pop off.
I think it was very funny. But still, like,
Still like,
it's
eesh.
still a little problematic, obviously. But I think it was called Changing Places. I'm looking it up right now.
No, that wasn't a body swap, was it? I think they had a swap in money. He lost all his money, but Eddie Murphy somehow got it. I think that is Eddie Murphy. No, maybe it is Richard Pryor. I don't know. Maybe they
I'm
did
gonna
swap
find it.
bodies. I don't think they swapped bodies, but they switched social
They
economic
swapped
statuses.
something. They swapped something. Maybe identities?
Now I want to watch that movie again. Trading Places.
I'm trying to find it. Here it is.
I'm
Yes,
wondering
Trading
if it was
Places.
Eddie
It was Eddie
Murphy.
Murphy. A snobbish investor and a wily street con artist find their positions reversed as part of a bet by two callous millionaires. Now I kind of want to watch this.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I want to watch it again. I know I watched it, and I also remember that there was kind of a shout out to that movie in the movie Coming to America, the original one with Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
At the end, the two millionaires are shown like living in the gutter or something like that.
Oh, is it? Oh my god. Like, a lot of these old movies were
Okay, we're gonna
problematic
have
in
to
some
watch
ways,
it.
but there were also some that were really funny.
So many ways. So many ways. Every time I open up my phone, it
Mhm.
says to the internet, to the Chrome,
Uh-huh.
it goes, want to continue watching Yuri on Ice? It's just gonna type in trading places, and it's like, would you like to finish watching Yuri on Ice?
Your phone's like, "We know
It's
what
like,
you're doing all the time now."
all the
Would
time. It's
would
so
you
gay and so good.
it
I
really
love it.
is.
I
We
love
need to
it. Like, I
Oh,
love.
if you want another good gay fun romp one,
Mm,
Sasaki and Miyano.
Sasaki
Sasaki
and Miyano.
and Miyano, watch that this week. It is adorable. It is absolutely
Sisaki?
adorable. Sasaki, Sasaki
Sasaki
and
and
Miyano.
Miyano.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm adding it to my list. It's adding to Crunchy list. Gonna go under Dre recommends and also my cute list.
Yes. It is cute. It is gay. It is
Love it.
very gay. I
Love
haven't
it.
read the comic yet, but I bought the comic, so I'm gonna read the comic because, like I did with Given, I want all of the information with it because I loved
Hmm.
the show so much. Like I will
Hmm.
probably rewatch Given every year. I think that one's gonna be one of my recurring shows just because it affected me so deeply in my heart. It was something about the music. The music just took me out.
The story was really good.
It's so
I
funny.
like how people came together. I thought it was really great. Um, so I think the first time I really felt seen in media was watching Ouran Host Club, which is recent.
Yeah, well, not that recent. It's like 15 years old now.
Yeah, no, I mean it's recent when I saw it.
Oh, okay, you saw it, like, when it came out.
No,
No?
I saw it a few years ago.
Oh, for the first time?
It took, yeah,
Okay, okay.
I didn't see it when it first came out. I saw it on Netflix or Crunchyroll, and I was just looking for shows to watch. It was like, oh, we're on Host Club, and I was like, oh, let me watch this. This looks fun. And it was also like, oh, I feel seen as a gender expansive person in this character who, and this show is like older, and so where
Yeah.
have we been? We've been having these conversations. Like, where was I? Like, because there was because there were not people who were like me in Western media.
Mhm.
It took me so long to figure out who the fuck I was.
Yes.
And I feel like kids now have more opportunity
So much more.
depending on where they grow up. Because if they grow up evangelical, then probably not. If they grow up religious extremists, probably not. Unless they go to like a public school or aren't homeschooled or something like that, then they have the opportunity to at least brush up against this stuff. But like, I feel like for the most part, kids have so much more like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. There's this joke that everyone in Gen Z is queer.
And, like, the thing is,
Let's say,
what what pisses me off about the conservatives on that is they're like, "We can't have all this representation in media because it's gonna make kids gay," and it's like, "No, it's not gonna make kids gay, but because it's telling kids it's alright to be gay, that's why you're mad." Because in
mm-hmm,
these representations, when there is queer joy, when there is
Yeah.
healthy relationships, when they are seen as humans, when there are human and realistic relationships, that allows you to envision yourself as those characters and to be like, oh, I can have a human and nice relationship with someone in that same way, as opposed to how it used to be, which is all queer representation was kill the gays or uh, torture porn, that kind of thing,
Or
where it was just
torture
where,
porn, flamboyancy, which is not
yeah,
a bad thing, but like stereotypes and
othering.
caricatures.
It was othering instead of being
Yeah.
like these are just human characters who. And the thing is, that's one of the things that I love the most about Given is that the characters are just human. Like it's a very
Yeah.
human story about people going through some shit and they happen to fall in love, and that is it. That's what makes it beautiful, is because you're getting to know them as people.
Hmm.
You're getting to know them as people, and then they happen to fall in love.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of
Instead of
stories
queer
I
being
like.
their character.
Yes, yes, that's it. Instead of queer being their only defining feature, you get to know them as people, and that makes them human, and because they're human, you can relate and be like, I'm like them because I'm also human. Same with
Yeah.
Yuri on Ice. Yuri on Ice is a struggling story about an athlete.
Yes.
It's a story about athleticism that
Yeah.
happens to also be gay.
So gay. So gay. So gay. So gay. Beautifully gay. Oh God, I was gonna say something, but I'm getting high. Uh, and hope I lose it. Oh, I think there's this thing of there's a disempowerment that comes to conservative parties when people are allowed to be themselves. It changes the power dynamic. So they
Yes.
don't want this power dynamic to change. Because if everybody was allowed to be themselves, if cis women had control, cis women, trans men, gender non-binary or expansive peoples who had a vagina were able to control that vagina themselves,
Mhm.
like that would throw them all off like of their power. Like if men were allowed to love men and the whole concept of bottom like being an antithesis to the conservative thought of what men could be,
Mhm.
like all their fear mongering, all their fear, like I don't want to say fear, I want to say violence, all their violence against it is to protect their own positions of power within this
Yeah.
culture. Like it's not fear. They're afraid of losing their positioning, so they use violence. It's not just a fear. When we talk about things like transphobia, homophobia,
Mhm.
it's not phobia. It's trans antagonistic. It's
Yeah.
homo antagonistic. It's anti this, it's anti that. All these fucking phobics need to go away because it puts the onus on the person who is other than the person who is considered what society accepts. When the person who has the power in the
Oh.
situation to change shit is like it puts it like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
afraid of you, so now you have to make me not afraid of you. It's like, bitch, you're the one with the history of killing people like me.
Right.
How the fuck are
How are
you
you
afraid of
allowed to be
me?
afraid? Yeah. Uh, and the
Right?
other thing is their view of sex in general
Oh god, it's so
is
gross.
that the penetrative act is a violation, and that
Yes.
that's how it's supposed to be.
And that the
S
other person is who the receiver is submissive
Yeah, and that they're
and
either
powerless.
accepting the violation or that they should not enjoy the violation.
Mm-hmm.
And framing it in that term is why they're so upset about people who essentially enjoy the act, because they don't think you should enjoy being violated. And that explains a lot about the way that people look at things.
Oh, I got high. I need to go to Target to pick up some items.
What? Oh my god, where did that come from?
I just looked out the window at the car and I was like, oh, I can't drive you, bitch.
Oh my god.
Whoops.
Uh,
Oopsie daisy.
I wish I lived nearby. I would just come pick you up.
Be like,
Like, let's go walk through Target High. It'll be fun.
get in the car. Let's go to Target.
They have
Look at
Halloween
you.
decorations. Yeah.
We'd have to stop by Michael's.
No, I spend all my
Yes.
money at Michael's whenever I
Yes,
go
I
in.
know.
I buy yarn that I am not going to use.
Mhm. I want yarn to knit with, right? That one loop I know how to do.
Mhm.
I can make a scarf. I can make a blanket off
Yeah.
that one loop. Um, but like, yeah, and I want some light up ivy.
Mhm, mhm. That stuff's
Light up
nice.
ivy fags. Yeah, for swags. Swags.
Swags?
Is it called a swag? I
Oh,
think it's
like
called a
a
swag.
yeah, like the thing that it's
Goes
like a
above the curtains.
it's a drapery.
Oh my god.
It's a kind of drapery.
Oh my god, I'm weak. We're so fancy. Oh,
Oh my
it's
god.
not a porch, it's a lanai. It's a veranda, bitch. A veranda.
It's
Yeah.
it's not an entryway, it's a foyer.
Oh yay.
Oh my god.
God.
Oh. Oh, so really quick, I wanted when you were talking about how alpha women essentially are seen as having to soften up. There's
Yeah.
actually a story on Tapas that I really enjoy. It's got a weird premise, but it's called My Boss's Special Request. And she's basically being she's like the CEO of a company and she's basically being pressured to get married. So she
Oh
approaches
wow.
one of her secretaries that she doesn't hate. She's like, "You're attractive and you're a nice guy. Can you marry me for just a year so that I can get these assholes off my back?" And he's like, "Okay, sure, because I'm poor and I need a nice place to live." So this works out for me too. And like at first she's like, they're like completely separate. And then she's like, I want this to be nice for you. So let's like go on dates. She starts watching K dramas to like learn how to do romance.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, K dramas taught me about romance a little bit.
And it's super cute because like he's not trying to change who she is as a person. He's trying to adapt to the way that she is, and she's choosing to try to be romantic in the way that she sees. And he's like, you're fine as long as you enjoy hanging out with me, we're good.
Mhm.
He just wants her to assure him that she's having a good time with him. He doesn't need
Mhm.
her to not be a hard ass because that's who she is as a person.
Mm.
And it's just it reminded me when you said that because I'm like, that's the first story of that type that I've read where they weren't like, oh my God, you're a shitty woman, where the man's like, you need to soften up and like love me in a different way.
Oh my
And
god.
this one, the guy's just like, I'm just here to, be of service to you. What
Oh
do
my
you
god.
need? And she's like, I would like to be romantic. So I'm going to watch all these K dramas to figure out what to do. She's like, we should
Yo.
go to the amusement park because I saw that they go to the amusement park a lot. And he's like, okay. I guess we're gonna go to the amusement park today. It's adorable. I think you would like it a
Mhm.
lot.
I'll check it out. It's kind of giving me like strong girl monsoon vibes. Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh my god, it's one of my favorites. So this girl, she has this superpower of being super strong. And
Uh-huh.
it runs in the women in her family. Like they
Okay.
just unless they use it for wrong,
Uh-huh.
then they'll have the power for the rest of their lives. So
Nice.
this one girl inherited this power and there's this guy that she likes, her childhood friend, who she's always been like she's kind of always been like pretending she was weak around because that's what you have to do in order to get a relationship. according to gender roles, right?
Oh my
But
god, this
this
looks adorable.
it is adorable. So then she ends up working for this guy. This guy sees that she's super strong and he's the CEO of a company. And he's like, I want you to work for me. So she ends up working for him for some reason. I think it's because she
Mhm.
needs the money. And he's like, oh no, she ends up working for him because he says, oh, I'll give you a place in the company in a role you actually want to be in if you're my bodyguard for like a year or so or whatever. And she was like, all right, cool. So she became his bodyguard, and he was watching her kick ass, being like, oh my God, I'm falling in love with this bitch. And
She can pick up a car. That's hot.
she, yeah, yeah. And he is, and she is like, she never changes, even once they have kids. Like, she never fucking changes, and he doesn't want her to change. He doesn't want her to not be strong. He doesn't
Mhm.
want her to not kick ass. Like he loves it. He's like, "Oh, hurt me, baby." He's like
That's awesome.
he loves it. And there was another show that I saw like in that was I also identify with this character. Brotherly Love. Have you seen Brotherly Love?
Brotherly love.
It's the one where the girl had to live as a boy in order to avoid bad luck, and then on her 21st birthday, she was able to live as a girl.
No, that looks
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, and no, it's kind of like a 12th night situation for a little bit. Um, but in the end, and you'll see like when you watch it, because you got to watch it. In the end, it didn't matter how she represented her gender.
You're gonna
Like,
have to send me, you're gonna have to send me a link because there are multiple things called brotherly love.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, like, a ton of them,
Let's see.
and
Brotherly Love K drama.
oh, so it's let me try with K-drama as a tag.
Wow, it's just going into K dramas with strong bonds. And then I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it.
Yeah,
And
find it and send it to me because 'cause I'll watch it. I like I've realized I haven't been watching Western media lately, like, at all.
I mean, why? Why? I mean, look at what look. I mean, I was watching. I had to go get tested for my asthma, see if my asthma was getting better yesterday.
Mhm.
And we were like watching what was just on the TV, and it was like, what the fuck is this? Like just talk shows and shit. And then I try to watch some American stuff, and it's just like, I ain't gonna lie. When we have kissing scenes on TV, like just
That
like
that
that you
meme
sent
I
me,
sent you.
that meme you sent me, I feel the same way. It's like, oh my god, it's so wet. There's so much chewing going on. This is this is
Is chewing.
uncomfortable.
Why are they chewing each other's faces? I don't understand.
Chewing. And I think I get tired of the very cis heteronormative gender role shit that's
Mhm.
happening in the media,
Yeah.
in the Western media. But that is also to say there are other like film things in Western media, indie films and stuff like that, like films put out by like A24 too. And
Mhm.
wait, I think A24 is Australian. My bad.
Is it?
Is
Well,
it?
it still counts as Western if it's Australian.
Okay. So I
Because
think
British and Australian and European count as Western. It's
yeah.
not just us.
So I think they're starting to learn in our media. I think right now it's been easier for me to find the things I want in foreign media
Mhm.
than it is to find here. Like the things that are being presented here aren't um they're well, I can't say that because I got all the subscriptions almost that you got. But it's just finding where these shows are
Yeah.
and who's marketing them to us, cuz what's getting marketed it's not the queer fabulousness that is out there. It's out there. It's in
Yeah.
Western media. But it's like fucking buried. It's like digging for a needle through a haystack.
Yeah, and it's another thing like where and I mean, I hate to say it like this, but like finding queer fluff is extremely difficult.
Oh, you are so right.
But like I've found so much anime that is fluffy and gay. Oh my god. There is a there is a show about rugby that is about just these dudes playing rugby and it's not explicitly gay. It is the gayest shit I've ever seen. And it is fluffy as hell. I will have to like I'll watch the rest of it and then I'll let you know for sure if it's good to watch because I've only seen like 3 episodes, but like yeah, I think that one's going to be another one on the list.
Mm.
But like there are so many anime that I've seen that are just like fluffy and gay and fun and joyful that like the fluffy gay stuff in Western media tends to also have tragedy. There is even if it is fluffy gay, like think of She-Ra. The She-Ra
Oh
reboot
yeah.
was queer, but like you got
So queer.
anxiety over it because it's
That's
like,
that's
oh
true.
my
They went
god,
through it.
yeah, they
They
go
went
through
through
it
it.
every single time, and I'm like, I want them to not I like even Heartstopper, which I adore. I absolutely adore Heartstopper, but like our main boy gets like harassed. He has anxiety. Like he is not okay. And sometimes I just want to see people be in love and have a fluffy time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually that reminds me, I'm kind of mad about something. So
Oh.
the comic that I've been reading, Love Tractor with the himbo that I just absolutely adore, they made a live action K-drama of it. And the clip that I saw online had them being unnecessarily aggressive to each other. And I'm
Oh
like, this is
no.
not how the comic was. Why did they do this to my boys? Like they get like they play fight a lot, but they don't actually fight. And it had them fighting, which it gave like the clip gave me anxiety. I'm like, this is not how my boys act. I'm sorry. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know why they did this. Like why they felt it was necessary to go this route. I might still watch it just to see if they completely ruined the vibe or if it was just that they chose a bad scene to start with because that may be the case. I mean, who the people who do marketing aren't exactly on point all the time as to what we want to see, but it was definitely not what I wanted
Mm.
in terms of that. But yeah, if anybody that's listening out there knows of queer fluff that is Western, please tell us.
Please do, because we need it. We need it. We don't have it and we need it. Ugh, I'm gonna have to really look this up and figuring out which one is it. Because this it's so good. I want you to be able to see this. Is it Chinese maybe? I thought it was Korean. I'm gonna find it. I think I found it.
Okay.
I found the picture of it, but I don't know if they actually name it. Have I got a drama for you? Visit. Oh no, I don't want to do all that. 6 dramas were bromance. It's called bromance.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna look that up right now.
A drama bromance. Oh my god, where is it? Oh my god, now I can't find it. But the name of it is now they're showing me K drama named romance.
There we go. Use quotation marks around bromance, and it'll pop up
Okay.
immediately.
Oh, it's on Vicky. Oh, okay. That's why I couldn't find it. It's Taiwanese.
Okay, okay, okay.
I feel like such an asshole. But it's been years since I've seen it. I want to watch it again. I want to watch it again. Oh my god, I saw it on Netflix originally.
I need to make sure I have Vicky on my Xbox so I can start watching stuff on there because there's a bunch of K dramas I want to watch because I've
Mm.
seen clips of them online and I want to see them. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna look. Do I have Vicky installed? I think I do. I think I installed it because you told me about it.
Because
No, I don't see
it's
it.
Rakuten, right? Rakuten Vicky.
I think so. Look at us. We're both like, oh my god, let's download this so we can watch this. Let's do
Yet
it now.
another
We
show
can't.
that we're going to watch together.
God, if I could type in my phone, I'm so high. Vicky. Rakuten. Rakuten. Rakuten.
Rakuten
I am
Vicky.
downloading it right now.
I'm going to download it
But
tonight.
yeah, that was a good one where she was like, she didn't have to come out of. It's like gender isn't queer. Clear. Gender is
Hmm.
queer. Um, the gender, what she decided on for herself in the end wasn't really clear. So I always feel comfortable referring to the character as they.
Hmm. That's
But
awesome.
the person they were with loved them regardless of gender expression.
How they were expressing themselves. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that for them.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have a lot of other non-binary comics that I found
Mm-hmm.
in manga form, and I'll let you know how they go because I haven't read them yet because I
Please
have like
do.
a bunch of different ones that I've been reading. I've been in the line comic space this week, but you know what? Let's let's do that. I will rewatch Sasaki and Miyano with you, and we will
Cool.
watch Bromance too.
Oh my God. That sounds like it would be so much fun.
Let
That
let
sounds like it's
let's
going to be so much fun.
let's have some queer joy this week.
Yeah.
I think we need that.
Yeah, we do. We had a rough last
We
week.
had a rough week last week. It was
Oh my God.
it was not great. I spent most of the week thinking I was dying, to be honest. Because like
Mm,
when you just because of how high my fever was, I could just feel my body breaking down. I was like, why? This
mm.
sucks so much. I just want to sleep. I didn't sleep much though. I still made myself stay up for no reason because of who I am as a person.
They better actually have bromance on it.
It says they do. Hmm.
They have it. It's on my watch list. I was so scared for you. I'm so glad you're feeling better.
Same. Like, and I know it's part of the process, uh, based on how Rylan explained to me how the herbs work, but ugh, it sucks. I hope this means that I'm not going to have fevers going forward, though, like as I go through these cycles with the
Hmm.
herbs, because um, how it's supposed to be working is it's supposed to be like stripping the myelin sheath off of the virus and allowing my immune system to attack the virus, which is why I have a very high fever. The only problem is no medicine can touch the fever. So when my fever is up at like 103 plus, when I take Tylenol to get my fever down, it goes to 101. That's how far
Mhm.
down it goes. Like, it won't go any further than, like, 2 or 3 degrees, and the 101's still uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And I can't double take medicine. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
So I just kind of have to sit through my discomfort and the dizziness and the, uh, other symptoms that pop up every time I have the long COVID pop up again. But at the same time, I hope that means the immune system's taking care of it and
Yeah.
that it's actually killing off the excess that are hiding or whatever, so some of the
Yeah.
long COVID symptoms will go away. Because 'cause I've been better about taking it this time than last time. Last time I was not as regular as I should be, and this time I've been
It
extremely
takes some
regular.
time.
Yeah,
It takes some time to go on track.
yeah, but that's that's why I've been in that space this week. Whew. Actually, speaking of, I am getting a little tired. I did a good
Yeah.
job resting yesterday, but I'm getting a little tired again. I think I need to.
Yeah, it's probably good to like finish up so you can go rest because this is your first day without the fever. So yeah, it makes sense that your body would be tired.
Yeah.
And I need to go eat something myself. So what would you want to leave people with this week?
What I'd wanna leave people with this week is, the same thing I keep leaving everybody with every week, and it's basically look at the media that you're consuming and who it's for and why it's written the way it's written. And
Mhm.
if it doesn't match or align with the way that you actually want to live your life, find other stuff to watch, find other stuff to read because it exists. There are so many different types of stories out there that some of them are gonna tell you the things you need to hear. And especially now, all of those things are far more accessible than they were when we were
Mhm.
younger. So, um, I'm hoping that for today's generation, that they're able to see themselves and feel okay about themselves faster because we got there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We got there eventually, but we could have gotten there faster if we had, had access to the types of things that we have access to now.
Mhm. Yeah.
How about you?
I would say consume your media consciously.
Mhm.
To be aware that media is everywhere. Like now, it's everywhere. Like it's not just you don't just have to go to social media to find or a movie to find something that's going to impact you in a way about yourself. So I think when people see things that are like, be careful of the tapes you're recording and know that you're recording tapes. Know that you are taking things in that are like trying to rewrite you and consciously
Mm.
look at those things and be like, oh, I see, I peep what you're trying to do. I peep what you're trying to do. And it's not, I'm not going to let you do it. Like there has to be some consciousness around, just like you're saying, like, who is it for?
Mhm.
Like, I totally agree with you that there has to be some gatekeeping of our own minds, bodies, and spirits when it comes to media. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
Oh, and one more thing, if you're not finding the stories that represent yourself, write them. I wanna read your stories. I wanna read everyone's
Yes.
stories. I think
Yes.
that we have there's worlds within everyone that can be explored and brought out, and don't ever feel like you can't write or that you can't draw or that you can't create just because it's not looking like the way that you see on TV or it's not the same kind of
Yeah.
story. It's your story and I wanna read it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right, friend, and everybody out there. This has been a good conversation.
It has been. We went over a lot of stuff. See, I knew we had things to say about this.
And you were right. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. We will catch you next time on Witchy Shit and Manga Lit. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the week. Bye.